Most football fans learn the game by watching it, but there is a whole category of laws that only become real when you're actually on the pitch, when you're the goalkeeper being told to put the ball down, or the captain trying to remember what your options are at the coin toss, or the Sunday league manager counting heads in the car park and hoping you've got 7. At Football for Everyone, we believe football belongs to the people who play it, not just the people who watch it. So here are 10 laws that make a lot more sense once you've been in the situations they describe, along with some context that the official rulebook doesn't always provide. 1. A burst ball means no goal, even if it went in. The laws of the game are clear on this. The ball must be in proper condition throughout the match. If it deflates mid-flight and crosses the goal line, in that state, the goal doesn't count. Play should be stopped as soon as the ball loses its proper pressure. The practical problem is obvious to anyone who has ever played. With a cheap ball on a concrete pitch, balls lose pressure gradually, not all at once. The law assumes a clear moment of failure, but reality is messier. A 2013 Belgian league match produced the most famous example of this ambiguity. A ball that visibly burst midair, a goal that was allowed anyway, and a controversy that dragged on for weeks. At grassroots level, this law tends to be resolved by whoever owns the ball. 2. Your yellow card survives even if your goal doesn't tee. Since the 2019-20 season, an illegal celebration earns you a yellow card regardless of whether the goal stands. VAR can take away the goal, but it can't take away the booking. EFAB's reasoning: the celebration happened, the disruption to the game happened, and the consequences should follow. The most common illegal celebration is shirt removal, and the reason that particular act is banned is more commercial than sporting. Shirt sponsors pay for visibility at the moment of maximum camera attention, and a player removing their shirt defeats the purpose. It is one of those laws where the financial logic is more visible than the sporting logic, which is probably why it generates so much frustration among players who just want to express genuine joy. 3. The referee's authority starts before kickoff and ends after the final whistle. This surprises a lot of players. The referee can send someone off before the match begins, during the warm-up, or even after the final whistle, while still on the field of play. The authority of the match official covers the entire period, from when they enter the playing area to when they leave it. Pre-match dismissals are rare but real. In a 2017 Europa League warm-up, a player was sent off for attacking a supporter who had entered the pitch. The procedural detail that matters here: a pre-match red card doesn't force the team to play short. A substitute can take the dismissed player's place in the starting lineup. Post-match red cards are more common than most fans realize, particularly after heated derbies, where tunnel incidents and dressing room confrontations can still result in disciplinary action. 4. Penalty shootouts must be fair, even when the match was in T. If a player is sent off during the match and the game goes to a penalty shootout, the opposing team must reduce their shootout squad to match the shorthanded team's numbers. It is a fairness mechanism built into the laws, and it applies at every level of the game. The 2006 World Cup final is the most famous example. France went into the shootout with 10 men after Zinedine Zidane's dismissal. In extra time, Italy had to sit one player out of the rotation. The player who missed out, Gennaro Gattuso, had played every minute of the match, and then watched from the center circle as his teammates won the World Cup. A bittersweet experience, though, presumably less bitter given the outcome. At amateur level, this rule causes genuine confusion when it comes up. Most players and coaches don't know it exists until they're standing in the center circle, trying to figure out why the referee is asking one team to step back. 5-7 players is the floor, and it is closer than you think. The minimum number of players required to start or continue a football match is 7. Drop below that number, and the game is over. In a standard 11-a-side match, that means a team can receive 4 red cards before automatic abandonment. The 5th would end the game. Sunday League players know this rule intimately, turning up with exactly 7 players. Knowing that a single red card could end the match is a specific kind of pressure that professional footballers rarely experience. In Italy, the story of Pro Piacenza, a club so financially collapsed that they fielded a team of staff members and paid strangers to avoid relegation, showed just how far this rule can be pushed. They played with 7 people, lost 20-0, and the result stood. In Turkey, a historic derby match was played with one team, fielding just 7 players, and that team won. Substitute players can also receive red cards, but they don't count toward the 7-player minimum. Only players on the field count. 6. Attackers have to stay back from the wall, and it is a newer rule than you think. This law only came into effect on the 1st of June, 2019. Before that, attackers could position themselves anywhere near the defensive wall, including inside it. The new rule requires attacking players to stay at least 1 meter away from any wall of 3 or more defenders. Violation. Indirect free kick for the defending team. The tactic that prompted the change was genuinely clever. An attacker positioned in the wall could duck or step aside at the last moment, opening a gap for the kicker to exploit. IFAB ruled it unsporting and banned it. The problem is that enforcement is still inconsistent. During Euro 2020, there were free kicks where attacking players were clearly inside the 1-meter zone and nothing was called. If you're playing at grassroots level and your opponents are doing this, you're well within your rights to point it out to the referee. 7. Own goals from restarts don't count. The ball has to touch someone else first. Take a free kick, corner, goal kick, throw in, or penalty, and put the ball directly into your own net without it touching anyone else. And it is not an own goal. The opposing team gets a corner kick. The ball must touch at least one other player before an own goal can be registered from a restart. This rule exists because restarts are designed to return the ball to active play, not to create direct scoring opportunities in either direction. It almost never comes up, but when it does, it tends to cause chaos. In a lower league match in England, a goalkeeper who sliced a goal kick into his own net was saved from the embarrassment of an own goal. By this exact law, the referee awarded a corner. The crowd had no idea why. 8. Winning the coin toss gives you more choices than most captains know. Here is a law that changed in 2019 and still hasn't fully filtered through to general awareness. Before the 2019-20 season, the team winning the coin toss could only choose which end to attack. Since then, the winning captain can choose either which end to attack or to take the kickoff. The losing team gets whichever option wasn't chosen. This matters more than it sounds. On a windy day or on a pitch with a noticeable slope, the choice of end can be a genuine tactical advantage. The confusion is compounded by the fact that the rule was changed in 2015 to end only, then changed back in 2019. So even experienced captains sometimes aren't sure what their options are. If you're a captain and you win the toss, it is worth knowing you have 2 choices, not 1. 9. The goalkeeper can't use the goal frame to psych out a penalty taker. Before the referee signals for a penalty kick, the goalkeeper must be stationary and not touching the post, crossbar, or net. A goalkeeper who is shaking the crossbar or gripping the post to intimidate the penalty taker is in violation, and the referee should delay the kick until they stop. This rule became a talking point after the 2022 World Cup final, where Argentina's goalkeeper was visibly touching the crossbar before several kicks in the shootout. IFAB subsequently tightened the guidance on enforcement. The rule is designed to prevent goalkeepers from using the goal frame as a psychological tool, but as Football for Everyone viewers have pointed out in the comments, it is still rarely called even at the highest level. If you're a penalty taker and the goalkeeper is doing this, you can ask the referee to intervene. 10. Goalkeepers have 6 seconds, but nobody's counting. The 6-second rule is the one that generates the most comments. On football, for everyone videos, and for good reason. It is one of the most consistently broken laws in football. At every level, in every competition, once a goalkeeper controls the ball with their hands, they have 6 seconds to release it. Indirect free kick if they don't. In practice, this rule is almost never enforced. Goalkeepers routinely hold the ball for 10, 12, sometimes 15 seconds, without any consequence. Official guidance to referees allows for up to 13 seconds, depending on context, more than double the stated limit. The 6-second rule is, in practice, a suggestion. Before this rule existed, goalkeepers were limited to 4 steps while holding the ball. The change was made to address time wasting, but the problem simply migrated. The only sport where the equivalent rule is consistently enforced is futsal, where the 4-second limit is called immediately, and without exception. If you've ever played futsal, you know exactly how different the game feels when that rule is actually applied. One thing worth knowing, if you're a player, the rule does exist, and referees can call it. In the 2012 Olympic Games semi-final between Canada and the United States, a goalkeeper was penalized for holding the ball too long, and the resulting indirect free kick led directly to a penalty and a goal. It happens, just not very often. Leave a comment below with the most obscure football law you've ever had to explain to a teammate. Football, for everyone wants to hear it.